And it said, Anton, Jaguar sales, Jaguar. That's the proper way to say it. A lot of people like to say Porsche. It's actually Porsche. You know, like that little ghetto hood rat that we be dealing with on a regular basis. Hey, Porsche. What's up, Porsche? It's not Porsche. It's Porsche. That's how you pronounce it. And similar to what we say with Jaguar. A lot of people say, "What? I got me a Jag. Yeah, man, you got that Jaguar F Type." It's Jaguar. Jaguar. That is the proper way that you pronounce it. But a lot of people are basing, and actually, I think it was a Jaguar F Type. It was a really great vehicle that I drove one time. It was like a drop top F Type. I had one in Tampa. It was pretty awesome. It was pretty awesome. But a lot of people are telling me and they asking me to go and look at this video because they said, Anton, and y'all sent it to me about 8 times inside of my email. You said, Anton, um, Jaguar sales plummeted over 97.5% and all of this stuff. I want you to do a review video of it. I want to see exactly what you got to say about it. Go woke, go broke. I said, all right, I'm going to check it out. But I'm going to check it out in real time. So let's get into it. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications.
According to an auto industry report, Jaguar registered just 49 cars in Europe during the entire month of April. Guys, that's down 97.5% compared to last year, where they sold nearly 2,000 cars. Between January and April, sales dropped 75% versus the same time last year. And Bloomberg claims the brand has effectively gone dormant since rebranding and ditching all of its gas-powered models. Lydia, as Charlie says, go woke, go broke.
No kidding. I mean, you'd think that these big car companies or any big brand would learn their lesson at this moment, because I feel like, what is it, insanity? You keep repeating the same thing over and over, expecting to have a different result. We saw this with Target. We saw this with Disney. We saw this with Bud Light, right? These companies are going broke, embracing what they think a certain demographic wants and totally missing the mark, and then suffering to the tunes of billions of dollars.
So let me add a little bit of context here for the people, because I have to say that Fox News on this particular issue is wrong. And I believe that Fox News is misleading the people in this report and how they're having a conversation about it. And they're trying to tie Jaguar sales with that and the downfall of places like Disney and Target when they decided that they wanted to go woke. And this is not true. And this is why you need people like me that is objective and is not paid, because I am not going to continue to push a narrative. I am going to have the conversation in truth. Now, let's break this down, okay? Because I was already familiar with all of this, and I was already aware of everything that was going on. I do like Fox News. I think that Fox News is accurate on a lot of the stuff that they talk about, but on this particular issue, I am always going to be objective. I know that Fox News is wrong. They're wrong. And so what they're doing is they're pushing a narrative, and they're having Republicans and they're having conservatives all riled up about the go woke, go broke thing. And that's not what Jaguar is doing. That's not why their sales is down 97.5%. I am going to give you the real understanding about what is really happening with Jaguar. And again, I am objective. I am able to separate how I feel about Republicans, conservatives, and all of that stuff from what is happening with Jaguar. Now, they are absolutely correct in that they did go woke with this new branding and all of this stuff, right? They changed the logo. They did this new commercial. They going all electric. And I think that they went all electric as a result of what was happening under the Biden administration. So all of the design direction and everything that's happening with Jaguar, similar to what happened with Chrysler, similar to what happened with Stellantis, similar to what happened with a lot of companies, were based off of the fact that there were EV mandates that were basically taking over the industry. And what happened was people were being forced into EVs, and they were being forced away from gas-powered vehicles, ICE-powered vehicles. Now, obviously, the election had a huge impact in what we were going to do from a business perspective. So what does that mean, Anton? That means that Trump then said, listen, we're not going to finesse the people with this whole Green New Deal and all of this stuff. What we're going to do is give people choices. And with those choices, we're also going to allow for companies to be able to make V8 engines, which is one of the reasons why you see Stellantis and Dodge now bringing back SRT. And if you remember, if you've seen it, the new Charger, it was EV only, and then they was going to put a V6 in a version of it and all of this stuff, and a Hurricane engine and all of that. But now Tim Meniscus is back as the CEO of Dodge. They're bringing SRT back. They're bringing the Hemi back. They put the Hemi back in the Ram. And so they are now going to give people more options instead of going EV only. All right. That's the first part of it. The second part of it is Jaguar is a boutique brand now. It has brand recognition. We all know Jaguar, but Jaguar has a history in which it used to be owned by Ford Motor Company. It was a part of the Premier Automotive Group. And Ford Motor Company, during the 2008, 2009, 2010 crisis, one of the things that they did is they spun off multiple different brands, and they wanted to focus on the core brands that they had, right? And so they sold Jaguar, was one of the companies that they sold. They shut down Mercury. They sold a couple of other companies also. But Jaguar is now a boutique brand owned by an Indian company. Yes, Jaguar and Range Rover, both of them are now owned by Indian companies. As a matter of fact, I believe that Jaguar and Range Rover are both owned by the same company. So what happened was, as they were going woke with this new commercial and going in the new design direction, which they didn't actually reveal, right? They revealed like a little prototype, but that's not actually the real cars that they're going to be selling. What they revealed was that they were going in a new design direction. They were able to sustain their profitability and also sustainability within the automotive industry through Land Rover, Range Rover. So while they're selling more trucks, what they did was they said that we are going to reset the whole brand and we're going to stop selling vehicles altogether. That's why I'm telling you the history behind it, so that you'll actually understand it and you'll be able to have a conversation with people when they give you false information. Fox News is saying that it is because Jaguar is going woke. That is not true. Jaguar is going woke, but that's not why their sales is down 97.5%. What Jaguar already planned to do years before was to go through a whole year plus of resetting the brand altogether and moving on to a completely different platform. And so they were going to just sell out whatever cars that they had left. They were going to do whatever fleet sales that they had to do, such as the cars that they're using for the Waymo vehicles over there in California and stuff like that. And that they were letting the dealers know a long time ago that they were not going to manufacture any cars over the 2025, 24, 25 sales year, so that they can then reveal a new design direction and they will be releasing new product over into the dealers. And they're going to take Jaguar, which already had sales problems competing against the Aston Martins, the Lamborghinis, the Ferraris, and all of these other higher end brands, even the Cadillacs, even the Lexuses. Jaguar had a very difficult time creating a pathway in the marketplace, especially with newer vehicles, the Teslas and all of this stuff that's coming out. And so what they did was they decided to do a rebrand, let the Land Rover, Range Rover brand continue to generate the revenue and the profits. And then Tata Motors would then take the Jaguar brand in a completely different direction and then probably electrify it. So this was intentional. This is not because people didn't show up to the dealerships and that they were saying, oh my God, I'm going to protest buying Jaguars. They intentionally reset the company, and they anticipated being able to report that they were not going to absolutely positively sell a whole bunch of vehicles because they don't have any vehicles that they're manufacturing right now for sale in the first place. Jaguar is not manufacturing vehicles. It's not like they have vehicles that are sitting on the lot that they can't sell. They're not making vehicles to sell in the first place. You understand what I'm saying now? So when you see these people, these women, what these women on Fox News are doing is they are talking off of a teleprompter. They are taking talking points from producers, and they're just using a narrative to say, hey, go woke, go broke. Yes, I do agree that going woke is trash, but that is not the real reason why Jaguar has a 97.5% drop. It's a good headline. It's not the truth when it comes to what they are doing from a corporate perspective. They haven't even revealed. They probably reveal it at CES in the winter/fall. They're probably going to start revealing the cars that they're going to start dropping at the auto shows. And then going into 26 and 27, they're going to start rolling out vehicles for sale. And so then we'll actually see exactly what the implementation is of the new design direction from the concept vehicles. Trini Life says the Jaguar car dealerships at Frisco lot look full. Listen. This is the thing that y'all have to understand, and this is why y'all got to join the Patreon and get in Stock Club. The way that a manufacturer records sales is deliveries from the manufacturing facility over into the dealership. So, for example, if you have a Ford Motor Company, because the dealership networks is completely separate from the company itself, the dealerships actually are owned by different business owners. They're owned by a different corporation. They're owned by family companies. They're owned differently. The dealerships, they have to sell the vehicles to the consumers, whether it's fleet sales or whatever. The corporate side of Ford Motor Company, Jaguar, GM, or whatever, they record a sale the minute that the dealerships take delivery of the vehicle from the manufacturer. So similar to what I was just telling you guys about the strike that happened with Ford Motor Company and the Big Three, when they ramped up production, they then delivered it over to whatever. So when you say a car lot and you see a dealership and they say, oh man, they got 120 days worth of inventory. They got to sell through all of this inventory. Well, Jaguar ramped up production so that the dealership networks, it was an agreement with the dealership networks in order for them to have a sustainable amount of vehicles to last them in order to continue to keep the businesses open while they do the rebrand. So when they then delivered these vehicles over to the dealerships, that is why you then see them say, well, we got a 97.5% drop in sales because they're not manufacturing any more vehicles. You understand what I'm saying? So the dealerships may have sales, but the actual company is not selling cars to the dealerships. That is how they then record a sale. When Ford Motor Company say, hey, we sold a million vehicles, is because those were deliveries to the dealerships. That wasn't necessarily dealership deliveries to the actual consumers. The dealership networks has to sell the vehicles, whether it's incentives, whether it's the finance companies or whatever, but the actual manufacturing of the vehicle, they record the sale the minute that they then send it over into the dealership. And then they incentivize the dealership to sell it by giving special financing and all of this other type of stuff. So this is why I want y'all to understand everything from a business perspective. The headlines could be tricky because they'll tell you one thing, but because they don't truly understand exactly how business works, they're taking talking points from producers, from the producers that's behind the scenes telling them to say a certain thing, but that doesn't necessarily reflect what's really happening within the company. This is why when we go through, when we do Stock Club, when we do the Patreon videos, I break down exactly how you need to understand every single aspect of the company. It's not just reading the charts. It's not just looking at the management. It's not just understanding the sales trends. It's not just what's happening with the headlines. Every single thing that you invest in, I tell people, never invest in a company or never invest in an industry that you don't understand. Because if you don't understand it, then you won't truly be able to make an informed decision. And then when you get on these analyst calls and they give you a projection or the revised projections, or you don't understand exactly what they're doing from a business perspective, you'll be finessed because you're just going by what Fox News is telling you, and you don't really know how to develop your own opinion because you don't understand the industry that you're in. A lot of people don't understand how Amazon really makes money. A lot of people don't understand that Microsoft don't really give a fuck about Xbox when it comes to the profitability of selling a console. They care about the fact that they're continuing to build the cloud infrastructure that you're using to download the game from, which is why GameStop is going to go obsolete, because obsolete is really going to be them trying to get you to trade in a game, but everything is now downloaded from the cloud. You understand what I'm saying? So we need to understand the business side of it. We need to understand how money works. We need to understand why these companies report the way that they do. We need to understand how they segment what it is that they're reporting in their analyst calls. Okay, so you're reporting iPhone sales, but what is it that's really growing the company? Is it software? Is it AI? How are you leveraging your AI strategy? What are you doing to deploy it into different products? How are you marketing? All of these things, right? It's more than just what's on the surface as far as what Fox News is telling you. They got a 5-minute window to get out this fucking report. They trying to get a bunch of videos and a bunch of views as a part of putting it out there. So they're going to put out this headline, hey, Jaguar declawed, go woke, go broke, 97% rebrand. It's a white lie. it's the truth, but it's not the full truth, and it's mixed in with some other verbiage in order to move headlines, but it's not necessarily an accurate reporting of the news. It's the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to give you the game. I'm going to really give you the game. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Make sure y'all tap into, listen to what she's about to say. I've never seen this video. I'm reacting to it in real time. Listen to what she's about to say.
If you look at their prior advertising, it seemed like they knew who they were marketing their cars to. People that wanted powerful cars, people that wanted to be kind of dark and mysterious and drive some fast, sexy British car, right? Who are they trying to market this to? I can't even answer the question.
I can't. And I meant Charlie Gasparino, your business colleague.
Oh,
Charlie
right.
Hurt. When I used to think of Jaguar, but when I thought of Jaguar, I mean, growing up, it was always like Dean, the hot one.
Yeah. Well, you're not asking me to remember a name. James Dean.
Thank you. Yeah. James Dean. That to your point, iconic, historic, amazing, and not this creepy Benetton ad.
So whether you're making beer or you're making cars, these are really fun, terrific, dynamic, appealing products. People love their beer. They love their cars.
They're giving you surface level conversation. They're not actually giving you real details, which I understand. It's not sexy. It's not something that you should be able to break down on national TV in 5 minutes. You also got to have a bunch of blondes up there that look like this. That's cute. They may not necessarily understand everything from a business perspective, but they know how to look good on camera, and they can read some really good producers' cue cards and all of that. So it's not a sexy thing. I get it. Fox News is a business. CNN is a business. And even though I like Fox News, they get it wrong sometimes. And I also understand that they're looking at this from a business perspective. But again, this is one of the reasons why I got to stay in my own lane, because, I know what's really happening. I use these programs to actually see what they're going to say, but we always draw our own conclusions so that we can inform the people and give you guys the information that you need to make an informed decision.
Historic, amazing, and
selling products. People love their beer. They love their cars. And if you have time in the process of making a car to stop and make a stupid ad like this that has nothing to do with the car, then your car is probably really boring. And as you point out, probably not very powerful, probably doesn't, low performance, very low performance vehicle. So, if you have time for this, to make stupid ads like this and trying to appeal to the politics, you ought to stop and say, okay, are we focused enough on doing the great product that we're supposed to be doing? And clearly they're not. And it's shown in those numbers as well.
You know what this reminds me of, Kaylee? So first of all, I'm too cheap to pay for the Spotify subscription, so I have to listen to the commercials. It's really annoying. But it reminds me of when I'm listening to a classical station or scripture lullabies, and then an ad comes on that's like a rap ad. And I'm like, know your audience. I don't feel like listening to the screaming stuff right now. So I feel like it's that, know your audience, Jaguar. Who did they think in Europe was going to see that and be like, yes, that means I'm going to go buy a Jaguar right now?
Yeah, this is low-hanging fruit for people like me. They get some stuff right, especially when it comes to politics or whatever like that. And other times they just use the headlines because it's a sexy thing to say. 97% is a big number, right? It's going to grab headlines. But it's not necessarily the real context behind what's going on in the company. But because I understand it, I'm not their target audience. They target in the people that don't really look at it from a business perspective, that don't understand business, that don't understand manufacturing, that don't understand the car industry, that don't understand exactly how politics played a role in rolling back the ICE manufacturing and all of that stuff. So they don't get it. But I mean, they just talking, they just entertaining, they cute. Yes, girl, and this, what do they think that people, this remind me of classical music, listening to Spotify, they just wasting time. You know what I'm saying? So this is low hanging fruit, but shout out to them. They made a good headline. They got a lot of views. There's a lot of people in the comments that's drinking the Kool-Aid. I got it.